had always heard about the Holy Spirit. I knew about the Trinity. I knew about God the Father. I knew about God the Son. But the Holy Spirit was always kind of this abstract being that's kind of floating around out there. I never really understood. But after coming to Victory and as I began to learn, it was such a huge revelation for me. I mean, I remember the first time that I kind of, I guess, had an experience close to dealing with the Holy Spirit. It was right after I first started at Victory, and I had signed up to be on the prayer team, even though I had only come here like 2 or 3 times. And so we had a meeting after church one Wednesday night. And I remember walking in the room and kind of thinking, is it even okay for me to be here? Like, I'm not a member of this church. I've only been coming for a short amount of time. So I'm sitting there like as the meeting is going on, and I remember sitting there the whole time thinking, okay, somebody's gonna come in here and be like, wait a second, you can't be here. You're not a member of this church. You haven't been coming here long enough. We don't know you. So I was terrified because my whole life I'd been afraid of people saying, you're not good enough to be here, you shouldn't be here. And so as all these thoughts are kind of racing through my mind, all of a sudden Pastor Chad just kind of like bursts into the prayer room and he's being all dramatic, like, oh, he's kind of, I can tell that something big is going on. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, he's here to run me off, like he's here to tell me I can't be here. And so he grabs some olive oil off the shelf in the prayer room and he's like, oh, we need to anoint everyone. We need to anoint everyone. And at that point, I'm pretty much freaked out. So I'm sitting there trying to find my escape route, and and I'm realizing that I'm trapped. So I'm sitting there and I'm kind of like, okay, I can do this. Just remain calm. Everything's gonna be okay. And so Pastor Chad's going around the circle, and he's grabbing everybody's hands, and he gets to me, and he grabs my hands, and says, oh, like, bless you, or something like that. And I remember kind of breathing a sigh of relief until I realized that he stopped at the next person. And it comes back to me, and at that moment I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. This is where the pastor tells me that, I'm not allowed to be involved in this ministry or whatever. But he didn't say that. He looked me in the eyes, and I had no choice but to look at him, even though I was terrified. And he said, you don't have to be anybody but you. All you have to do is just be who God created you to be. And that was such a huge deal for me, because that's something that I would wake up and tell myself every single morning. I spent most of my childhood, most of my life really kind of apologizing for being alive, and I couldn't believe what I'd been missing out on. I finally began to understand that the Holy Spirit is a source of power for us. I mean, it's literally everything that God is inside of us, and because He chose to be with us in that way, we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to apologize for being alive. We don't have to worry. And that night in the prayer room, I mean, that totally transformed my view of religion, because all of a sudden it wasn't about doing all the right things or showing up on Sunday. It wasn't about being what a Christian, looked like in my mind. It's like all of that stuff got washed away. All the lies just became totally irrelevant to me. And instead of fear, I found this intense sense of power, and instead of doubt, there was all this love that just encompassed me. All of a sudden I started hearing these, for lack of a better term, all of a sudden I started hearing things. I would be in Walmart and I would have a thought like, hey, you need to talk to this person. You need to say this, go and do this. And that was totally new to me. I mean, it was like God was literally with me. He was literally there. He was talking to me. He was reaching out to me. He was a part of me. And it was fun, and it was exciting, and all of a sudden I realized that God is not religion. He's not a list of rules. He's not regulations. He's not the church, the sanctuary. You know, he's not any of those things. He's a part of us. He's real. He's everywhere we go. And that, I mean, you know, it was something that I had always heard that, but I had never really felt that. But all of a sudden, you know, with the revelation of, wow, he's with me. He sent a helper to stay with me all the time. I'm truly never alone. It really woke me up and helped me to realize that despite my faults and despite my fears, you know, I have this power inside of me that enables me to do things that scare me. And I mean, it's like in those moments when I feel fear start to kind of grip me, that's when the Holy Spirit speaks and says, you know, fear not. Remember who's inside of you. Remember the power that I've given you. Remember, just remember who I am is, you know, and everything that you've read in the Bible, everything that every miracle that you've heard about, like that's the power that I've sent to you. So stop it. Stop being afraid. Stop making excuses and just go and do, because that's what I've called you to.